conservation, education, animal care, and science. As we enter wild Africa, on our right-hand side, we'll find our first few animals of our journey. These reddish-colored monkeys are called potus monkeys. Potus monkeys are the fastest species of primate in the world. They can reach speeds of nearly 35 miles an hour out on the open savannas. About the speed of a car driving through your neighborhood. That's pretty fast for a little monkey. Imagine looking out your window and one of them's running alongside you. We are going to enter our first open habitat, and this means we are driving directly through our animals' homes. So this is where we especially want to keep those arms and legs inside the vehicle. Should any of our animal friends ever decide to approach us, that's okay. Sometimes they're a little bit curious. We just want to make sure we don't reach out towards them because some of them are also a little bit shy. Looks like in this first habitat, once this gate closes behind us, we'll be able to pull forward a little bit more. On our right-hand side, we have some black and white birds kind of behind that barn. They are called marabou stork. If you don't get a great look at them right now, don't worry, we will see some more of them again later. The marabou stork is also known as the I just lost it. They're a type of scavenger bird we're going to go with. They are from the savannah, so they are helping to clean up everyone's leftovers. As a scavenger bird, they're eating carcasses and lots of other dead things on the savannah. So they're kind of like the cleanup crew. They're really important to keeping the ecosystem clean. They're also known as the undertaker bird is what I was going for. In our next habitat, we'll meet animals from wooded and forested areas of Africa. Some of them are quite small, really good at finding the nooks and crannies to take their naps, so keep your eyes peeled. You never know exactly where we'll find our animals at in this habitat. I think I see a few off to our right-hand side, though. We've got under that shelter there a tall bird, this time a little bit more colorful, with some crazy-looking feathers all over his head. He's called a gray-crowned crane. He gets his name for those crazy-looking feathers on his head, which resemble a bit of a golden crown. He also gets the name living fossil because he's been found in fossil records as far back as 50 million years ago. So he's like our own dinosaur here at the zoo. Also back in the corner here by the fence, we've got a large antelope laying down called the Eastern Bongo. Now that is the largest species of forest antelope, and males like that would have been known to reach weights of over 900 pounds. So incredibly large. He's probably closer to about 700 pounds, but that's still a really big antelope. So he's going to rely a little bit less on his size to hide him from predators, and a lot more on his colors to help him camouflage and blend in with the shadows of the forest. On our left-hand side, we've got another good look at another one of our gray-crowned cranes. And then on our right-hand side, if you look up into the trees of this aviary, you'll find some pink-colored birds called scarlet ibis. Now, they're a little bit different than the rest of the animals in this habitat. Instead of being from Africa, they are from the Caribbean and South America. Now, because they are living near the ocean, that's where they're getting a lot of their food, and that includes foods like shrimp, krill, and algae. Now, these are the types of foods that give birds that bright pink color, so eating those same foods is also how birds like flamingos get their pink color. Typically, the more of those foods you eat, the pinker you can get, so they can also come in a variety of shades of pink. We are going to pause for just a moment on the other side of this gate, make sure it closes behind us so we know all of our animal friends are safe and sound where they belong. Then we'll continue on our journey to find more amazing African animals. We're going to continue now deep into the Ituri rainforest of Central Africa, which is home to the Okapi. Now, if you've never seen the Okapi, they're a very interesting animal. They are the closest living relative of the giraffe. Now, despite their zebra-like stripes on their back legs, we can tell they're related to the giraffe because of the shape and structure of their skull. So they've got a long, narrow face, giant ears, a 14-inch long tongue, and also those two little spikes on his forehead are called ossicones, and those are the same thing that are on top of a giraffe's head. In fact, the giraffe and the Okapi are the only two animals in the world that have ossicones. That was our biggest clue they were related. Next, we're going to head back out onto the grasslands to find our African painted dogs. They are one of the most successful hunters in all of Africa, and they're able to be so successul at hunting because of their large pack size. They live in groups of anywhere from 6 to 30 individuals. Looks like one of our dogs is digging a nice big hole today. They do get their name because of the painted appearance of colors all over their fur. Everyone has completely unique painted colors on them. No two painted dogs look exactly the same. Next, we're coming by our rhino boma, or shelter. For today, we have our little baby rhino back here today with mom. I should say big baby rhino. He is over 850 pounds at just 8 months old. So baby rhinos grow incredibly quickly. They can gain about 100 pounds every month during their first year of life, and by the time they are full grown, they'll weigh anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. That makes them the largest of all rhino species and one of the largest land mammals on the planet. So they are incredibly big animals. We're going to come up ahead towards the main habitat where we're going to get a good look at some of our adults, see how big they get. In fact, this is our biggest rhino in the crash, which is what we call a group of rhinos. He is our adult male, and he's around 5,000 pounds. So they can get even bigger than him, imagine that. He's a big guy, too. Up ahead, we'll also find their roommates, which is the Grevy's zebra. Grevy's are the largest of the zebra species, so lots of big animals out here today. So you might notice one looks a little smaller, a little bit
Daddy.
fuzzier. He is a baby still. We're a foal. He was born just a few days before the rhino calves. They're both about 8 months old, little birthday buddies. We also here have a few more females. We had one under the first shelter and then a few over here in the shade as well. Now you might notice everybody's horns looks a little bit different. Their horns are made of keratin, which is the exact same material as your own hair and fingernails. So just like we like to file our nails, they like to file their horns on anything they can find. Rocks, logs, fences, trees. So everyone's turns out looking a little bit different. Great way to tell them apart. On our right-hand side, we have our oldest elephant here at the zoo. She is nearly 40 years old, which is only just starting to get into her older years, but then given care, they can live well into their 60s. On our left-hand side, we have our two mom and baby pairs, as well as our adult male. Our male is the one that's in the back, reaching up for that enrichment that he has hanging above him. So we try and kind of give our animals almost like puzzle feeders sometimes. Makes life a little bit more interesting for them, so he's probably got some interesting treats inside that ball there. And then our two little babies are 5 and 6 years old, so not quite babies anymore, but they definitely still are babies. They were born right here at Zoo Tampa as part of a breeding program to help keep their species alive, since African elephants are unfortunately an endangered species. On our left is their big indoor building, their barn, night house, whatever you like to call it. So inside they have access to things like air conditioning. They've got heated floors to keep their toes nice and warm when it gets a little bit chillier out. And they've got enough space that all 6 of our elephants could have their own separate bedrooms if they ever wanted to. Females are pretty social though, so that's not something that happens commonly. And on top of fitting in all 6 of our elephants, we can also fit inside all 3 of our giraffes. It's a hurricane-safe building here at the zoo, so we made it big enough to fit lots of different animals in there in the case of inclement weather. Up ahead on our right-hand side, we have a whole bunch of yellow buildings, which make up our Jack Arlene Foundation Animal Care Campus. So we have buildings like our veterinary hospital, where we can take care of not only our own animals, but a lot of animals that live in the wild of Florida around us. We can make sure they're getting x-rays, checkups, surgeries, whatever they need. We also have our own nutrition center to make sure animals are getting the proper diet and fresh food every single day. Now we've got a few more animals to see on our left-hand side as we come towards the end. So we've got up here at the beginning a few lowland Nyala, including our little baby one over there. The tan ones are females, and that darker one is the male. You can also get a pretty good look at one of our giraffes from here if you haven't seen them yet. The best way to see our giraffes though is going to be from the walking path once we return to the station. If you missed the marabou stork the first time around, that one out in the middle who's sunning his wings, that is one of the marabou storks. And if you happen to see any blackbirds with red faces walking around on the ground, they're called southern ground hornbills. They can be really good at hiding sometimes, though they're about the same size and height as some of those bushes out there. Next, we're going to take a trip on over to the Seychelles Islands off the east coast of Africa to find the Aldabra tortoise. They're one of the largest tortoise species in the world. Males have been known to reach weights of over 500 pounds. They can get incredibly large, but they're still not the largest out there. That would be the Galapagos tortoise. Now, they're from the opposite side of the world, off the coast of South America, and they've been known to reach weights of over 700 pounds. So that gets pretty big. Our biggest one out there is just over 500 pounds. They get even bigger than him, but they start off their life much tinier. They hatch from an egg that's about the size of a tennis ball, weighing just 3 ounces, and they gain